Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so got everything I needed. Pretty successful day. Headed back to the hotel rather. And I don't know if I'll pay them now or pay them tomorrow, but at least I got what I needed to do so. We'll see how I feel when I get in there, if I want to stop at the desk. Probably so. I think I got a package there waiting for me, so probably just pay them now. But yeah, man, tackling some very difficult conversations today as usual, you know what I mean, on this channel. Nothing pertaining to my personal life at all, just stuff that I'm seeing in the world, spiritual stuff I'm having a hard time with. And you know, I think that it's incumbent upon me to continue to use my voice to the betterment of my ability and let the chips fall where they may. You know, it's just a rough time in the world. I'm seeing so much evil being disguised as religious, people who are evil, comfortable being evil out in public, saying that quiet part out loud, so to speak, engaging in just devilish behavior and saying that it's good strategy, it's sound, being godless and saying it's acceptable, and it's just gotten to a point where it's just like I'm fatigued with the evil. Every day I wake up, I just become more and more fed up. And I understand that that's exactly what the enemy wants for us, and that there is an answer to all of that in God, and that we need to be patient with God and let Him in and let Him help us handle these days, handle these times, just like He got our ancestors through difficulties, so too will He do for us. He gave us all of the tools that we need. We just have to access them. I truly believe that, and that's where I'm at. I need to start accessing the tools of patience, tools of restraint, preservation of future, you know, and my why needs to be intact. Why to keep going, why not to crash out, why not to become completely and utterly dysfunctional, and or not dysfunctional, destructive, you know, how not to just completely be self-destructive in a world that is just very difficult to wrap your head around what's going on in, you know. And that's really what it is for me, trying my very best to stay sane. How you doing, brother? Peace. You know, and understanding everybody else is going through a lot of difficulties as well, and you know, just understanding that. And when we go wherever we go or speak out into our camera, understanding that, you know, we have a responsibility as content makers to understand that not everybody's going to receive what we have to say in the way that we intend for them to receive it. Some people will hear what you have to say and will do things they have no business doing, or not receive it in the way that you want it to be received. And so that's why I ask the Lord to filter everything I have to say, so that what comes out of me He can work with. And so this conversation here is no different. But I'm just having a hard time in my life right now, watching what's going on in Lebanon, coupled with what I've seen happen in Gaza. You know, just more carnage, more of the same application of just disregard for human life based on race, based on skin color and religious backgrounds and stuff like that. It's just what prompts some to be more important than others to the ruling powers in the world. And then you understand what they are about in a lot of cases, which is just ridiculousness, as it pertains to what it is they're willing to do to satisfy their own urges and to uphold their wealth. How comfortable they are with discarding all of us, the double standards that are applied. I saw a meme this morning that it's so very obvious, but I needed to see it in this form to really let it kind of be driven home. This guy was posting on his page, he's like, when billionaires are shot, and then he showed a picture of Luigi Mangione being arrested in orange jumpsuit, surrounded by police, you know, shackled from head to toe. And he showed on the other side of his meme, when billionaires kill and R-word thousands of women and children, and it showed a photo of a bunch of redacted words on a sheet of paper. Just all you see is black redactions on a sheet of paper. It's like, this is the type of double standards that I'm referring to when I say this. Let a guy like Luigi Mangione assassinate one billionaire, and it's just so much urgency. Let one billionaire R-word a bunch of children, and suddenly he's being protected. Like, if that isn't psychologically meant to provoke uprising and uproar, then maybe I'm just not looking at this correctly. But I swear these people are trying to turn us into a bunch of raging maniacs, reacting to this type of psychological damage, this type of, double standard that's only meant to enrage all of us onlookers. That's only, it don't hold much other purpose but to make people crazy and make people want to hurt people. Literally. When you wake up every day, you see kids dead in your phone. You see other people acting like it's not happening. You see a government full of people sitting here saying, yeah, this is successful, this is fine, this is dandy, nothing's wrong, don't believe your lying eyes. It obviously will prompt certain rage within a person who's watching that. And if you see enough of it, it's just like water torture. Every passing drop, first it starts with just a little bit of a drop. After them drops hit for a couple hours, couple of days, and all of a sudden it can put a hole in your head. It keeps dropping in that same spot. And that's essentially what this is. These psychological applications are more or less like figurative water torture. It just keep hitting us with the same stuff over and over again in that same spot. It drives you absolutely up a wall, man. And I have to think it's purposeful, just like those behaviors are purposeful. So too would this be purposeful, in my opinion. It's supposed to prompt something. It's supposed to make you behave a certain way in response to it. And it's key for all of us who are intelligent enough to identify these patterns to not allow it to make us worse, not to play into its hands, not to make it successful. And that's ultimately what the Lord has put in my heart to say to you now. Don't let it be successful. If you understand what it's meant to do, you got to do something else other than what it is that it's intended to do to you. If you're smart enough to know what it's doing, don't let it do what it does. You got to make it so that it's a failure in your life. And that's what I'm saying to all of us, man. This shit is driving me crazy, y'all. Honestly. But I also understand the spiritual ramifications of behaving crazy. It's self-destructive, and I got a life to live. I got things that I need to be doing. I got people I need to be affecting with my positive energy, with whatever the Lord put in my heart to say. I got to be around tomorrow to say it. I can't not be around. I can't let today be the end day for my life, because I need to be around 3 weeks from now for whatever is about to happen next, so that I can be a sound voice in that regard. We have purpose, long-term purpose that the enemy wants us not to fulfill. And if we're smart enough to make the enemy a failure, we will be able to fulfill our purpose. But we got to get through the day, man. We got to get through the day. And that's what I'm telling everybody, man. Get through today. If you know what he's trying to do, then make it do something else. Don't let it do what it's meant to do. Keep going. Fight. Use your voice. Turn your frustration into positive creations that can inspire others, or into a motivation to complete your goals, into motivation to be more consistent than you are, or more intentional on having good form in whatever it is your practice is. Funnel your frustrations into your passions and allow them to propel you into winning behaviors. That's what needs to happen, man. Otherwise, you're just playing on the way the devil needs you to play for him to be a winner. And that's unfortunate. For your legacy, that's unfortunate for the world. Because we don't need no more devils, dog. I'll tell you that right now. We don't need no more devils. Prayers out to the people of Lebanon. Prayers out to the people of Palestine. Prayers out to the people of Iran. Particularly the little girls that were bombed, the little boys that were bombed in these schools. So many children killed by these individuals with tax dollars that are paid by my fellow countrymen and women. We're funneling all this money over to these individuals. A lot of them, a lot of the people who are doing this don't even realize that they're doing so. They would be just as outraged if they was privy to what's going on, but they've been culturally coerced away from being curious about what goes on outside of their bubble, and then it becomes a situation where we have a horrible reputation amongst the world as people who are neglectful, when in actuality we've just been trained to being indifferent rather than it being a natural representation of our being. That if we become aware of what's going on, just like many human beings, we come to the aid of those who are suffering. When we see somebody doing wrong or doing horribly, a lot of people are very giving. Many are not, but many are in this indifferent society of America. If more people were aware, or if they were able to have that point of what is real driven home to them in ways that they can comprehend and receive and be touched by, that delivery is so important for these Americans, because we're so used to receiving things in the form of art. We're so used to being able to see TV shows that drive home most obvious points that are in our regular lives, but until we see characters in movies play the roles, we don't actually feel anything. We don't actually equate it. We don't get it. We got to see Star Wars to understand the imperial, nonsense that goes on above people's heads that affect others trickle down. We need to see these type of things in art form in order for us to get it, because if we're looking at it head on, there's some cognitive disassociation with what it is we see versus the reality of what it is our position should be as quote unquote compassionate and good people. We're wired a certain specific way that makes it so that we can only receive things partially, if not given to us and delivered a certain way. And that's what I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around in regards to this dystopian nightmare that is American modern society as it pertains to circumstances going on outside of its circumference. And I understand that I wasn't raised fully indoctrinated by way of my inconsistencies with school and my inconsistencies with church. They didn't fully get my mind like that. They didn't. I kind of was raised with compassion attached to my mother's way of upbringing me, and then from there, just not indoctrinated to fully align with just the flag at all costs, or I'm supposed to feel bad about if I don't align myself with other people and they feel good about what I look like while I'm speaking or whatever. It's like a certain cultural guilt trip that makes it so that you're not doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Like I'm not going to walk down the street sounding crazy. I'm not going to, that speaking to oneself is associated with being absolutely out of your mind. And being out of your mind is not something that people have compassion about, but more so unfair towards. So you'd be best, if you are not well, to not allow yourself to be seen as unwell. Otherwise you get taken advantage of and don't win this capitalistic game for which everything is supposed to ultimately be about. Because at the end of the day, I got to protect against not having money. At the end of the day, I got to protect against what trickles down to me not having money. So I can't look crazy, or I'm not going to have the connections. I'm not going to have the people that align with me doing what I need them to do so that my dreams can come true. I got to appear sane. I got to behave in agreement with what society says. And if everybody agrees that it's okay to be quiet about this, then it's important that I be quiet about this as to be responsible in this society. That type of stuff, I wasn't raised with that. That's not how I'm wired. Those specific guilt trips, that was not effective for my brain. And because of it, I'm able to walk down the street, look crazy, as I do right now, speak things that other people are afraid to for the sake of losing what it is that ultimately allows for their dreams to be possible, or for them be responsible in this world where you got to have money in order to take care of yourself, they lose their money. They lose their path to money. And that's irresponsible. That's the context to understand about America, man. There's a lot of guilt trips that are woven into the collective mindset of what is considered responsible in this nation. Collective mindset. We think we're independent thinkers, but we all align a certain way without actually realizing it. To say that we must do this or we're going to look crazy, and that's just like, that's the end of the world if we look crazy. That's the end of the world if we look irresponsible. That's the end of the world if we are not climbing to the top of the capitalistic totem pole. It's like our heads are going to explode if we don't do this. You know, I liken it to what is in our hearts and minds that make us want to do the things that we're supposed to do every day for our hygiene, or brush our teeth. You know, we're going to brush our teeth or we're going to have bad teeth. You know, the breath's going to stink. It's hygienically bad. It's health-wise, it's bad. If you don't wipe yourself, you're going to smell bad. It's bad hygienically, etc. And so too do we have these things wrapped up that way. As it pertains to, okay, we can't look crazy. Okay, I can't be shunned by my friends. All right, I got to be sound socially. If I don't appear sound socially, I'm irresponsible. If I'm irresponsible, then I'm shunned. If I'm shunned, then that's going to trickle down to me being broke. And if I'm broke, then, of course, my head's going to spin around in circles. It's that type of, like, matter-of-fact understanding and alignment with certain behaviors. And within those behaviors come a certain comfort with things that you should never be comfortable with. And that's by design. And if not for those agreements, you would never be fine with certain things. You would never be silent to certain things. But you stepping outside of those agreements is equivalent to you not wiping your behind when you get up. You're just not going to feel comfortable if you do that. And you will never allow it to happen. Not in your right mind. Now, if you would happen to lose your mind, you may abandon those agreements. But otherwise, if you're saying, you're definitely going to wipe yourself before getting up. You're definitely going to shower before leaving the house. You're definitely going to brush your teeth before going to sleep. And so too will you be quiet at the presence of certain things that we all agree we shouldn't be talking about. Our perceived indifference is wrapped up in those type of agreements. And that's why you see such a collective motioning toward what appears to be indifference. That's why you got to get underneath those agreements to unlock that compassion and the actions that would be appropriate to provide the urgency necessary for the tragedies that ultimately we are intertwined with in this world. Sometimes art can unlock that for human beings. Sometimes delivery, special delivery, will unlock that for these human beings. You know, I look over at other nations who have different agreements. And how they are wired is, if we don't do this, 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 and this, then we ain't wiping our backside. And you look at Israel. And I see that with Israel. They have entirely different agreements, different truths, different perception of self and what it means to be a proper human being. And that disconnect between what our agreements are and their agreements is really what aligns an understanding that we can never actually be on the same page. But to properly identify why that is something that I don't think we're asking the right questions. I don't think most people even know to ask those questions. Maybe several years away from actually officially asking those questions. Like, okay, we get it. They're really, really demented. But that's not where you stop thinking as it pertains to trying to perceive these individuals. What comes together to make that so? And how do you unwire it so that you can connect with it, so that you can accomplish what it is you're trying to accomplish? If you believe they're too far gone, and you stop thinking and you just start coming to conclusions that ultimately deteriorate your reputation as a human being and trying to be effective in saving the world from what it is that they agree to. But if you have a lot more faith than that, then you keep digging in these areas that I'm hinting that you need to be digging in, where you try your best to get underneath those agreements and try to deliver properly the truth that would ultimately allow for some alignment between the two very different sides. And just as they raised their kids to feel the way they do, and we were raised to feel the way we do, so too can our children be raised differently, and so can theirs, which is scary when you consider it one way or the other. If what it is that raised them meets us and raises our kids will be like them. But if what reaches us reaches them and raises their kids, they can be a bit more like us. But there's a true north to all of this. My beliefs versus your beliefs is the results of what comes from those beliefs. Sometimes people just have to see things played out. Sometimes you just got to see your side not work. Sometimes you just got to see yourself in harm's way because of the choices that your agreements have forced you toward. And I firmly believe that the choices that their agreements are coercing them toward are going to leave them in very regrettable situations. That a lot of what it is that they've been taught that raised them was meant for the destruction of them and their reputations, weaponizing them against others so that they can be a destructive force in this world, coercing not only others toward certain unhappiness, but coercing them toward certain unhappiness. And when one becomes weary from living in the realities of that unhappiness, then comes the understanding that something needs to change. What is that needs to change? And then you incorporate what you've learned from these studies. And it's in their agreements. Something in their agreements has coerced them the wrong way. Something in what comes to them matter-of-factly that is literally parallel to wiping their backside when they get up from the toilet, that needs to be abandoned so that they can be better, so that they can course correct and have a better path toward them, whatever it is that's best for them. Then they start wondering, maybe there's a better way. Maybe I need to start putting down some of these agreements. Maybe it's okay to get up without wiping, so to speak. But it's that deep. It is that deep. They most definitely believe they need to dominate the world. They most definitely believe that the people that ultimately they want to take things from are terrorists. They most definitely believe that they are justified in lying that way, and that they're supposed to be that way because of what God put in their lives. No, that's not God. That's the devil. And no, he's not leading them toward anything good. It's suffering. And suffering is most regrettable and highly fatiguing when you live through it for long enough. As I've already mentioned, man, someday a Zionist is going to be tired of what comes of serving the devil. Someday he's going to get tired of what lies bring his reputation. Someday he's going to be lonely from all the destruction that's come from killing everything around him. Someday his kids are going to shun him for the behaviors he's engaged in. And on that day, he's going to wonder if he should have just got up off of that toilet without wiping. You see what I'm saying? But we may be thousands of years away from that reality. We may be millions of deaths away from that reality. This is why I'm telling all of us that we just need to get through the day, man. I don't know what God has planned for us. I don't know what God has planned for them. I don't know what God is ultimately coercing us toward or away from with his behaviors that he's seeing in all of us, or whatever it is that we're doing. I don't know what's next, but what I can say is you gotta get through today, man. Gotta get through today. Today ain't forever. Although tomorrow ain't promised, today is not forever. We can't let today be the day that we succumb to whatever we're frustrated with, to where we're not around to be solutions for the problems of tomorrow, for which we have the answers for it. We may not have the answers for today, but you sure as hell are the solution for tomorrow. But you gotta make it through today, because you may be the only one who can save tomorrow, and that's the purpose of what it is I'm trying to say. Get through the day. And I know a lot of people are going to say, man, I want to crash out, dog. I'm sick of this. I'm going to find the nearest person that did whatever, however I don't appreciate, and I'm going to do to them something that's going to throw my life away. And what's the use? Because I'm sick of today, and I'm sick of forever. But that's not true. Forever ain't defined. Forever ain't defined. We're sealing certain fates with our reactions to certain behaviors, certain pains, and things of that nature. Don't seal the fate of forever by doing something destructive right now, for frustrations that are soon to pass, for which you have more strength in you to deal with than you believe, and more purpose than you perceive. Because we're going to need our numbers tomorrow, man. And that's what I want to say to people. I think what I've learned in this life is that you can get through anything. People have gotten through things that I don't believe I can survive. They've gone through certain tortures and certain behaviors that have been applied against them that I don't think I'm wise enough to even survive. But they were strong enough to survive it. So somebody's able to survive that. Somebody was able to get through that. Somebody was able to be productive after experiencing that. Not to say that you can or that I can, but someone was able to. So let that be enough evidence to let you know that you can get through what you're going through. And for those who are living in constant suffering, life ain't forever, man. We're not immortal. We're not immortal, man. I get it. You're tired. You've been tired for a long time. This is weary. You're feeling like you got nothing left. But at the end of the day, this day gotta end. As many people say, they gotta end. This ain't gonna be forever. Some people are just so tired, they don't even care no more, bro. And one of the agreements that I have is that I'm not supposed to kill myself or let anybody kill themselves, because of the wisdom that I've already described, plus more. And that the Lord would be just feel betrayed by our quitting on life. I don't know. What I would tell people that I'm certain of is, if you have a relationship with God, you can make peace. As I told people in a previous video, that I believe that God understands us differently in certain situations, key situations, where certain things that we automatically think are a certain way may not necessarily be that way, because God may have a certain agreement about us that maybe is exclusive to us, but we got to have a relationship with Him in order for that to be possible. And that's what I would tell people who are weary and ready to quit on life. Have a conversation with God. I was listening to a video from a brother that passed away very recently. I wish I remembered his name was. A rapper of some sort. He died. He took his own life, from what I understand. I'm not really sure. That was never clear to me what came of him. But the video that he had posted maybe several months ago after his final album was released, and he was saying, I woke up this morning, had breakfast, talked to God, and God told me after I released this album, I'm gonna find my peace. He was essentially saying he was gonna be leaving the earth. And then at that point I could find my peace. And I made peace with that. And I said to myself, damn. And then when I saw the video, I didn't know he had killed himself. So I'm like, yo, man, that's some prophetic stuff. The reality was he had made peace with himself and was intentional on checking out. And so what came to mind when watching that was, if he made peace with God, and he talked to God, and this is what God told him was fine, I don't know if he was talking to God. I don't know if he was talking to the enemy of God. Who knows, right? I'm not spiritually inclined to know what spirits he was tapping into or what energy he was getting and what was coming his way. But I do know if I'm to find peace, it's going to be from a conversation with the Most High. And if I'm to condemn him for his choices to take his own life, that's absent of the understanding of what his communication was with the Most High. I said all this to say, if you're tired, talk to God, man. You never know what he'll tell you is fine. You never know what he'll give you a pass for, or what he would ultimately forgive you for, or what ultimately he will tell you your solution will be. And one of the things that I've learned in my life is that anytime I've turned to God, I've gotten some peace that maybe didn't make sense to others if I were to explain it to them. I've been told that things were going to go a certain way when there was no evidence of such, and it went that way. But it took communicating with God or reaching out to God for me to receive that testimony to share with you guys. The devil wants you not to try to communicate with God, to just go on your own understanding, succumb to whatever frustrations you feel, and be comfortable with those choices prior to seeing how they play themselves out. What I'm here to tell you is, maybe God will give you the solution that you're looking for, but you got to turn to him first. That's really what it comes down to, turning to him first. Looking for him before looking for solutions. Because a lot of times our best understanding will not provide us any peace. Our leaning on our own understanding may not give us no solutions. It may coerce us down the path where we're all kinds of problems for someone else and ourselves. But turning to him, he may just tell you, hey man, it's cool if you just go about it this way. I know the world gonna shun you for that, but you've come to me and I'm good. He discerns. It's within his prerogative to choose whatever he chooses. He may not give me a pass for that, but because you came to him, said, God, I'm tired, man. Will you please give me a pass to get the hell up out of here? Maybe he'll tell you cool. But that's between you and him. Maybe he'll tell you, no, not yet. But I will give you the tool to deal with what it is you're dealing with since you came to me. Nah, you're probably not feeling that strong right now, but give it a couple moments and I'm going to bring you that strength. Well, guess what? You're a day away from your dreams coming true. You just don't see them coming yet. So just give me a second. Thanks for coming to me. Let's see new things come your way. Even when you're dealing with things like addiction and sickness and all of that, it's like, oh God, I'm tired. I don't want to suffer the ills of my body rotting through cancer or whatever the word would be. You know what I mean? I don't want to keep suffering. I'm about ready to check out. I got my gun. I'm ready to check out. Lord, let me out of here. Maybe he says something along the lines of, well, because you came to me, now we got this solution coming. Or because you came to me, your next couple hours going to be a little bit better. Or because you came to me, yeah, you can probably just go ahead and use it. I don't know what he's going to tell you, but the point is you go to him first for the solutions rather than going upon your own understanding. At least reach out to something greater than yourself with your intentions to do whatever you're going to do. As I can tell you, I told him different things and he gave me peace. I listened for a voice and that voice gave me the solutions that were coming. It might not have been what I wanted to hear, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. It may not have been something that you would accept, but it did course correct me in the right direction from there. And so that's what I want to tell people, man. And that relationship don't have to come from picking up a book or going to a church house or sitting down with someone else. It ain't gotta be you being effective in hearing a voice when you intend to reach out. It don't require much of anything at all. At all. The reach out is enough every time with him. And look for the universe to answer everything else. You ain't gotta be special and, doing all types of speaking in tongues or having your hands move by themselves or lighting some special candle and turning a certain direction. With due respect to those who believe that, I found that that's not what is necessary for those who don't know him. Trying to reach out, trying to find solutions for problems that otherwise they want to quit in regards to. No, it's just like, I need help now. That's enough of a prayer to get a response. In my lifetime, I've seen him respond to that. I'm tired of this. If you don't do something about it, I'm going to move in a direction that you may not be pleased with. That may be enough of a prayer right there. With all due respect to all my people who tell people how to pray, there's no how to pray. There's no actual how to pray. There's no actual how to pray. That's what I've learned. It doesn't mean that the way that people teach you how to pray can't be effective in prayer. It may do many more things than just pray. Some of those practices are solidified in place so that it can change certain agreements. Sometimes those practices are meant to coerce you into utilizing your time in more productive ways. If you're sitting there praying to the left for an hour and a half, you're not wasting your time lusting, thinking about bad things, getting in confrontations, coming up with devious ways of getting at people. There are a lot of things that come from practicing specific religious prayers that ultimately align with the time of the Lord and what he wants to do with the collective of your religion and the collective of your people. This ain't about that. This is about how he can help you as an individual in a moment of crisis or otherwise frustration and ready to give up. Ain't no way specific that's meant to either work or not work. Your reaching out is good enough. It's absolutely effective. You just simply saying you're tired of the consequences of doing things the way you've been doing them, or the consequences of certain things coming your way as they have, that's enough. And he wants you to try that rather than not try that because you think you need to pray a certain way and you just don't know what that is. People say, I don't know how to pray, so I'm not going to pray. For those people, I tell you, there is no how to pray. A simple suggestive thought to something in the atmosphere that you believe will relay back a response of some sort is, in fact, prayer. So long as you intend to reach what created you, what looks to give you solutions to your problems with intentions of making you better in that process, it's your reaching out that ultimately makes the prayer happen. I think that that's what I needed to hear right now, because it's gotten to a point where the stuff that I'm seeing in the world is just making me less and less strategic as I need to be to stay on the right course spiritually. I get tired of what I'm seeing in my phone every day. It ain't even about my own life and the frustrations that come with my existence. This is not at all what I'm tired of right now. Not even a little bit. I am sick of seeing people dead in my phone, bro. Brown people dead in my phone and seeing others fine with that, co-signing that, championing that, saying that it's the right thing because of the things that I know are not true. Over and over again, saying that it's fine to kill those people because we're trying to reach certain people. And those people are amongst those people, so those people gotta die in order for us to get the people we're after. That is what I'm telling God I'm tired of, man. I am really tired of that. I'm tired of that whole scene. And it's making me consider things in ways that do not align with Him, who created me, who wants the best for me and everyone else. It's making me align with strategies and behaviors that more so duplicate the energy of the enemy, celebrating people's death and wanting carnage for those who harm people, and wanting drastic blanketed behaviors of punishment upon an entire people just to stop the bleeding on the people that I'm rooting for to survive. That is not a solution that God can align with. It's not going to bring about a lack of suffering in the world toward innocent people. There are innocent people in these places where bad things are done. I am one of them. Although I say that with a question mark, because I don't know how innocent I am, but the point is I would never co-sign the behaviors that my country is paying for. Never co-sign the behaviors that my country is going for, is engaging upon against people everywhere, all over the globe, as I come to learn. I am not with none of this. I don't agree with any of this shit. These people are the enemies. And people who wave the flag that ultimately my grandfather and my uncle and my brother and my nephew and my father fought for to represent, those are the people that are enemies and always have been. And I see clearly. They applied these same tactics to my ancestors to snatch and build up the land that I'm walking on right now, that they are applying to the Lebanese people and the Palestinian people and anybody else they plan on doing this to afterward. It's the same spirit that tortured my people for 400 years that is staring me in the face and telling me I should support them genociding people in the Middle East. It's that same energy, man. It's that same spirit that gaslit me and told me that it was my own people that sold me, and that's why I should be fine with them enslaving me, because my own people first sold me to them. Like that's supposed to help me cope with the idea that I was a slave for 400 years. They called my Native American ancestors terrorists and savages that needed to assimilate to their Christianity or whatever satanic version of Christianity they align with. Hunted them down, genocided them, broke ceasefire treaties with them, gaslit the public on looking at circumstance and coerced people into being fine with their suffering as a means of building up their land and sovereignty on the bodies of the people that were my ancestors. Othering them like they were some subhuman entity meant to be discarded of, just like they're doing the Palestinians and the Lebanese people right now. Well, we gotta kill every man, woman, and child because the bad guys are hiding amongst them. And they're all gonna grow up to be bad guys anyway. It's the same thing. We don't see no innocent people amongst them N-word. We don't see no innocent people amongst them engines. It's the same spirit, it's the same psychology, it's the same behavior, it's the same people. Just wearing a different religious robe, following the same damn Satan. And so that's why I'm sitting here saying, man, this is driving me crazy at this point. And I need the Lord to help me keep from crashing out. I just want to be able to have my voice 6 months from now. Be able to react to whatever's going on just like I've been reacting for the last 3 years. Whoever follows me needs me to be on the right side of God just as I have been, and I can't let today be my last day because I'm so sick of what I've been seeing in this world. These people doing these things that they've been doing for 500 years to new people today. That there's no solution in allowing myself to decay and crashing out on a random one of them or three of them, or just doing something stupid to get myself thrown away that isn't going to actually bring a solution to the problem. That I can do so much more good with a sound mind and a voice than I can with a poor choice. And that's what I'm here to tell all of you guys today. I take my frustration and my intention on pushing in a direction that can be more productive and pay that forward as you receive it from me on your most frustrated day, when you're sick of what it is that you see, when you finally reach the breaking point in whatever your circumstances are. Remember what it is that I felt on a day like this, where I told y'all I didn't quit, but I sure felt like it because I was sick of what I was seeing. I'm sick of what I'm seeing. That's legitimate, man. It's absolutely legitimate. God is real. God is an awesome God. He does exist. You may be frustrated because you don't see him working, but he is. I may be frustrated because I don't see him working, but I've seen him work, so I know he exists, and I know that he's working. And I don't see what he has around the corner. And I may not be pleased with what it is that's going on right now, but it is what it is. You got to just keep believing. That's the essence of the tool that is strength that he provides when you ask for it. Patience that he provides when you ask for it. What I consider to be gifts of a divine nature that he provides us at his pleasure. Gotta ask for him. Identify what you see, feeling, and ask what you need. Ask for what you need to address it productively. Ask for what you need so that you can play the game his way, so that you can be on his chessboard moving as he would move you, not as the enemy would move you. He will course correct you if you're on the path of doing what the enemy wants you to do, so that you can be one of many soldiers in the army of God, fighting against the enemy in an effective way, in a way that doesn't make him proud or make him light a cigar. It's a challenge, but it's one worth taking on. That's what I want to tell y'all. When you see God triumph over the enemy, you see the enemy's ways crumble, you'll be happy that you lived to see that day. I promise you. You'll be happy to have done what you did to assure that the Lord's will was done, because there's nothing more triumphant than to see the enemy crumble. There's nothing more triumphant than seeing what he's done fail him. Got to live to see that day, though. That's the thing. Got to live to see that. Got to get there. You got to get there, man. You got to be on the right side of the track, so to speak. You can't be fighting on his side. You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to work. That's not going to allow you to enjoy the fruit of the Lord's win. The Lord's inevitable win. The devil's a liar. He's going to course himself toward his own failure. So you ain't got to question who's going to win. The devil's going to make sure he loses. That's the part that I've been really trying to drive home on this channel in many videos that I've made. The devil going to course his own failure. We just got to stay steadfast, locked in with the truth of that being the case, and not allow all the misdirection and the confusion and the lies and the psyops have us lose sight of that. You know? That's exactly what it's meant to do. The people who are yet to suffer at the hands of the enemy deserve to have us standing in between them and that enemy spiritually. And that is something that I want people to understand. I believe firmly in the idea of guardian angels, spiritual allies. Even if we're not living in the flesh, if we will not have sold our souls, we can be in a position to defend the good in the thereafter. If that's ultimately what we desire for ourselves to be. Defenders of our loved ones, defenders of innocence, defenders. Maybe we wouldn't be able to get in between someone and a bullet, but we can suggest into someone's heart not to self-destruct and throw their souls away. Become a guardian angel, a conscience of someone else, but you can't throw your soul away, or else you won't be that. You'll be a demon in somebody's ear, trying to coerce them toward the enemy's, intended quarters, his final dwelling place. Have you doing his bidding spiritually? It's not as simple as living and then either surviving or dying. It's about where your soul is able to roam afterwards. That ultimately is in the balance with our choices as well, which is why I tell people who intend to quit on life to communicate with God. Because if God is communicated with in this regard, and you reach out to him and intentionally go to him before choosing your fate, he may spare your spirit even if your life comes to an end. He may tell you, okay, it's time to come home. I don't know that he's going to tell you that, but he may, and that will leave you in a position to be in his good graces, worthy of what his final resting place will be for you. And ultimately, maybe you graduate to being a guardian angel too, but you betray the people you would otherwise want to guard over if you throw your soul away. I don't have no scripture to back up what I'm saying. These are just things that I think about as I consider the thereafter. Things that I think about when I feel like someone's watching my back. Spirits are covering me. How do they graduate to that point? How can I assure that I can be one of them for the people that I want to watch over when it's no longer time for me to be on this earth? How can I show up in my family members' dreams after I pass away and be of service to their inner peace? Or be a suggestion, play a good role in their dreams that will help course correct them away from what they shouldn't be a part of. All of these different realities that I'm not certain of, but perceive as possible with the presence of a living God in control of things. I gotta stay on the right side of him so that I can be of service to those who love me and who I love, right? Spiritually. I feel like I'm a guardian angel right now before I even pass away, because I pray for so many people and watch the Lord bless them. They don't even know I'm praying for them, and I'm watching from afar what the Lord is doing in their lives. And I'm already there. But I can lose that privilege by throwing my soul away. Now I let them down, leave them vulnerable, and then have to watch them suffer. And that's real hell right there. To watch your family suffer and scream and they can't hear you, praying and ain't nobody coming because you ain't connected to God, because of something you did that made your soul of the enemy, and now you watching your loved ones die, watching your loved ones suffer, watching your loved ones throw their soul away, watching them throw away a course that would otherwise lead to their dreams coming true. And it could have been something you could have did about it, or something you could have suggested into the wind that they would have been able to pick up on some spiritual way. Yeah, no, I don't want to lose that privilege. No, that means too much to me. That means too much to me. And these are things a lot of us don't think anything of, but we do have people we love just the same. You have kids you're leaving behind, or what have you, grandbabies you're leaving behind, a lineage you want to see pass forward many moons. You throw your soul away, and then you can't reach them people in their dreams. You can't watch over them kids. You can't suggest to them, hey, come over here, stay away from that man. That ain't a good man there. And they somehow hear you. Versus not being able to because you threw your soul away. God won't let you reach him. None of this have to be the case, man. I'm just talking. Like I said, I ain't got no scripture to back none of this up. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anything's possible with God. And I felt the spirits covering me in times. I felt my mom covering my soul when I got in my car accident. And I felt the car flip over, and I felt her arms reach around me. I knew that she was able to do that because she didn't throw her soul away in her life. I knew that if she was an evil person, I wouldn't have felt her presence there. There are many evil people that pass away that I knew. I don't feel their spirit nowhere. I don't feel them looking over me in no kind of way. They're gone. That's the point. There's a difference. There's a difference. That's all I want people to understand. And so, let that be something that seeps into your heart as you consider what it is that we've said. All the things that I've talked about today, I believe that this is what the Lord wanted me to, what he wanted to be attached to these feelings that I feel today. I am tired of what I'm seeing in my phone. I am tired of genocide. But I don't want to throw my soul away in response to the enemy's intentions toward fatiguing my mind and my spirit within his intentions of cruelty toward individuals, toward massive amounts of people, or whatever, however you word that. I'm tired of damn genocide, bro. I'm tired of watching the individuals who are engaging in genocide bouncing around, smiling and laughing and being considered important and having our voices, drowned out as we say, no, this is wrong, they are wrong. Suddenly we the bad guys and all that. That whole environment is driving me to a space where otherwise, without the presence of a living God in my heart, I'd be ready to crash out. You see what I'm saying? I'd be ready to throw my whole life away just to get my hands around one of these people that is engaging in this behavior. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's where this is taking, I think, a lot of people who don't know God. And I'm telling you, you can expect that there are a lot of people who are not getting this message I'm speaking who are going to insurrect. It is just a matter of cause and effect, man. It's cause and effect. And that people are seeing too much. We are seeing too many kids dying in our phones. The new people who weren't paying attention to what was going on in Gaza are being exposed to this as well. New trauma, new radicalization, new minds seeing all of this and reacting to it however they do. Only a portion of people were able to see what was going on in Gaza. A great deal of us who saw it spoke about what we saw. Those people heard us, they either believed us or didn't, and are now watching what's going on in Lebanon. And they're seeing what we said happen in Gaza before their own eyes in Lebanon right now. And I'm telling you, that is its own world of psychology right there. People who are going to be devastated that they didn't believe or fully react the way that they otherwise would have when people like us were telling them what was going on, and they were listening to people that they shouldn't have trusted tell all of them that we were not to be listened to. They're seeing what we saw in this new situation, and they got to live with themselves for that reality. And that in and of itself is going to cause a lot of weird stuff that could be possible that give birth from that. And I just tell you, man, forgive yourselves, man. Better late than never. We all had to be waking up someday. We all had to come around to see what we need to see, and the Lord's in control of a lot of that too. wasn't meant for you to see what we saw in Gaza, but it was meant for you to see what's going on in Lebanon. And you're going to be speaking to some people, trying to get them to understand some things, and they're going to tell you, you're a bad guy, you're crazy. You're going to have to go through what we went through, because there's going to be some people who ain't seen neither one of these situations. And you, new person, is going to talk to them, and you're going to get the treatment that we got from you. It just comes with this. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.